The time has finally come. We're going to talk about the one thing that, well, at PDXCon, I completely neglected to take a look at because Federations and the Juggernaut got in the way and I only had 25 minutes, so yeah, here it is. The Galactic Community. Now, you may ask yourself, ASpec, what is a galactic community? It's very straightforward, actually. Imagine the United Nations, that gleaming building in New York City that cost a ton of money and is technically on international soil. Yeah, it's that. It's the Space UN. What can you say, really? It's a place where species meet to come up with rules that can be pushed towards other species. That's right. You can pass resolutions and laws that can cause you to get embargoed if you're not careful about things. Regardless, we're going to be talking about the first item. It is resolutions, and resolutions are fairly straightforward. Once you have managed to set up the galactic community, you've basically gotten as many species as possible, as kind of similar to how the galactic market used to work, because yes, it's going to get merged into the galactic community. You get the option, say, hey, do you want to found the galactic community? Or if it's already founded and there's a group of species out there that are like, hey, wanna join this here galactic community, then you could do that as well. Anyway, once you're in there, resolutions are a thing. What is a resolution? A resolution is a law that can be pushed within the galactic community at large, and basically what it means is if you don't do what the galactic law says, you will get a bad case of the denouncements. Now, how does it work? Well, you come in and you've got all this political power, you're like, hey, so I would like to push this here buzzword standardization law under commerce and industry, and everybody's like, ah, that's cool, we've got strong support for this stuff, just add it to the queue. Just add it to the queue. Why add it to the queue, you say? Well, it basically means that it will pop at the bottom of the queue, and once it's time to vote on the next thing, that won't be the very first thing that is going to be voted on. In this particular case, it would be the Charter of Workers' Rights. So rejoice, the workers' rights can be a thing. So yeah, once that resolution is finally available, it is time for the voting. Oh my god, it's buzzword standardization. It adds a bunch of modifiers. Oh wow, diplomatic weight from economy goes up by 10%. That's cool. Diplomatic weight is cool. We talked about this a little bit last time around, and it allows us to have more power in our voting. That's cool. Trade value plus 5%. Tell me more. That's some good stuff. And bureaucratic upkeep minus 5%. But the bureaucrats, they always cost money. They're just sitting around, coming in the office late, and just sitting, being on Reddit, and every once in a while they'll file a piece of paper that is coming from a different department, yada yada, etc, etc. So you can support, oppose, or abstain on this, and if you support it, your political weight gets added. If you oppose, your diplomatic weight gets added in the oppose option, and you abstain, which means you don't vote on it. So that's relatively straightforward. But yeah, like I mentioned, only one resolution can be voted on at any time on the Senate floor, and the proposal that moves into session next will be the proposed resolution with the highest amount of diplomatic weight supporting it. Ah, okay, I didn't realize that. Okay, so if a proposal has a high diplomatic weight attached to it, like we saw in the picture earlier, then it will get bumped to the top. So if there's something that people strongly support, it will most likely go to the top of the queue. So that's nice. So that's good that is in there. Still though, it still needs to go and get past the Senate. So first of all, there's a couple options here. You get your supporters, you got your opponents. They all have their various political weight they can throw behind whatever is necessary. They've got a galactic focus. In this particular case, they want to pass a resolution, and that can be multiple things. Hey, there is a threat out there. We should probably do something. We should do something about this. We should send a strongly worded letter to the Praetorian Scourge as they are rampaging through anybody's territory. Or you could just say, hey, How about we get the Military Readiness Act up and running, and that basically means that we get more fleet power and more fleet capacity, but does give it a little bit of a hit on ship upkeep there. And if people don't use half of their fleet power, they will be in breach of galactic law. Yes. That's when the strong-worded letters come out. Anyway, Senate floor, it's fairly straightforward. It's a voting system. You know, some will vote for, some will vote against. If you have a giant amount of political power, you can dominate the floor. So be sure to be that hegemony in a federation and be like, hey, yo, doesn't matter what you vote for. We'll just nuke it from orbit. It's kind of like the UN Security Council, except it's not the UN Security Council. That's the Galactic Council, which is coming with the paid update. All this stuff that we've talked about so far is apparently going to be free. So that's cool, I guess. So yeah, when a resolution is in session, gets voted on, empires can support it, very straightforward. You can also use favors, a little bit more on that, and whoever gets the vote through, they win. It's not very clear what happens to any of the other votes, or at least proposals. Do they get cycled back in if there is a strong favor for it later on? Who knows? It's not very clear at this moment in time. I really wish the devs would be clear about this. So yeah. Diplomatic weight. Diplomatic weight is calculated on a scoring system, like how much fleet power do you have? How many pops do you have? How strong is your economy? How strong is your tech? So all of these actually matter, so that's good. Probably a couple of modifiers thrown in there as well, which is, I hope, kind of cool, because it'd be nice to say like, hey, I got a juggernaut. That's like 16 fleet power right there, right? Or something along those lines. Or I found a planet somewhere, and for some reason I can mine political power out of that mountain over there, or something like that. There's probably going to be a relic for it, let's be honest. If you have ancient relics, you can probably bet your, well, what's the expression I'm looking for here? I'm sure there is a good expression for it, but regardless, there will probably be a relic that boosts it. But yeah, what else do we have? Favors. We talked about it a little bit in passing. Let's say that a empire is thinking by themselves, look, hey, you owe me for something. And this has not been really specified on what it actually could be. So maybe an event, maybe they've joined into a war during like a defensive pact or something along those lines. And then they're like, yo, you owe me a favor. And a favor needs to be paid for. So how about you vote on this thing over here, and we'll call it even, and that's then the favor system. Ironically, you can also trade favors with other empires. If you say, hey, see those Xenos over there? Yeah, they owe me. How about I sell you whatever they owe to me, and you can cash in on that later on when a resolution of your particular type comes through. Yes, that is going to be a thing. It's a little bit weird, I think. You can trade favors like it's some sort of thing that you can go in the market for, like slaves. Are favors slaves? I don't think they are, but I'm sure there will be a mod for this sooner or later. But yeah, we got all sorts of cool stuff. The workers' rights. Why? Guardian Angels Act, regulatory facilitation, natural sanctuaries, that's probably for primitives. Military Readiness Act, we talked about this. Advanced Xeno Studies, that's currently part of, I believe, the policy window. But yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff here. Oh yeah, and every single time you want to use a favor, it's going to cost you 75 influence, because clearly we already have enough influence available. It literally feels like that they're going to be using all of these new things that you need to spend influence on, just to make sure that you don't expand all that much. At least, that's what it feels like. Let's put it that way. Alright, what else do we have? Ah, yes, the Galactic Council. The Galactic Council consists of 3 species that will definitely neglect the fact that the Reapers are coming, because they have rejected such silly proposals. It's the UN Security Council. It comes with the expansion. You get veto powers and emergency measures. Oh, aliens are coming. They are fanatic purifiers. Mobilize the fleets. we're gonna go in. Something along those lines. But yeah, veto rights allows a council member to vote veto a resolution. You know, that's currently in the proposal queue. Not particularly clear whether or not that is actually going to be a... you can just do it constantly. It's like, I don't like it, veto. They'll vote on it again later. Don't care, veto. Or something along those lines. Resolutions declare galactic invaders, yada yada, probably also the con. And now the galactic market, as I mentioned at the start of the video, will be founded through the Galactic Focus to found the galactic market. When a resolution to form the galactic market has been passed, the bidding process for the market founder will continue as it previously did, where you spend a ridiculous amount of energy and influence to get that slot for a 10% bonus, or at least a 10% reduction on trade costs in the trade window. But yeah, also joining, you can also leave the galactic community. You can join at any time if you want, as long as it's founded. You can be a founder, you know, galactic market and all that stuff. And leaving. You may want to leave it at some point if there's too many sanctions on your ass, or too many resolutions are negative on them. So that's the thing. What's not particularly clear at the moment is whether or not the Galactic UN or the galactic community is in fact a place. It's kind of like how the galactic market is a silly station orbiting a star, or sitting on top of a star sometimes. I'm not entirely clear on what's going on there, but it's there's no fancy UN building, at least from what I can see right now, where everybody has to pay money to the founder or whatever it is to make sure that it gets upkept, or they get more political power or something along those lines. So yeah, that's curious. Also, there is a couple of political and cultural things that you can push, environmental and technology, and this in combination with federations could be really interesting. I really wonder how this is going to work out in the long term, and whether or not the AI can actually do something with this. So yeah, I'm pretty sure also the fallen empires cannot join the galactic community because they got too many things to do, you know, sit on their worlds. Look at Xenos dropping their stuff on their holy worlds and then going to war, getting too close to borders, doing illegal technology researches, etc., etc. There are so many things here that can be done. But yeah, it's curious how all this is going to work out. I'm really looking forward to it. What else are we going to be doing? Oh, next week we're going to be looking at origins, all of them. All 16 origins, or 18 origins, who knows? But I've already talked about them for a little bit in the past. The video is down below if you're interested in that sort of thing. But in the meantime, we're going to go wrap this one up here. I hope you enjoy this particular video about the galactic community. It's a bigly one. It's probably going to be one of the core parts of the update, but I'm not entirely sure this is exactly what we're looking for in a update and expansion when it comes to adding more flavor to the galaxy at large, and more about that in a video in the near future. In the meantime, I wish you all a good day, and until next time, take good care of yourselves, and as always, I am the Senate.